Hi class, this is Dr. Karsten, and today I wanted to talk about how we can use the area model for multiplication. So this is going to be a basic introduction to it, and I am going to go over two of the problems that you guys were working on today. So let's first start with understanding what is area. So we have this word area. So what is area? Well, area is the flat space that something takes up. So when I'm drawing a line, it's just going in one direction. And I can just measure. I could measure this in inches or centimeters. I can measure it however I want. But area is bigger. It's the flat space. This has area because it goes both this way and this way. So area, you could think about it. It could be like a picture on the wall or carpet on the floor. And you can talk about the area that takes up. So it's not just a distance going one way. It's space that's being taken up. And a formula that we often use is that area is equal, and I'm going to use capital letters right now just because I find that they're easier to look at. It's length times width. So we talk about our length and we talk about our width. So that's a really quick basic introduction. Let's imagine now that we wanted to find the area of a space on my floor because I wanted to get a carpet. So what if I told you that this is a runner? So runners are kind of narrow carpets. They just kind of go on like this for a long distance. So I wanted to get a runner for a hallway. And I know that the space is 1 foot wide, so 1 foot. And then if I know that, and we're just still learning, we're just trying to understand area, so it's 1 foot wide. And then let's say that it was, I don't know. Let's say that it was, this looks to be about 8 feet long. Oh, you guys can't see it. So 1 foot wide, 8 feet long. So if I wanted to know how big this was, again, area is going to be measured in square units. So what I would do is I would figure out this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares going this way. It's 8 squares long, and it's 1 square wide, which gives me a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 square units. In this case, it would be 8 square feet. So I'd have 8 square feet, and I'm just abbreviating. Let me see if I can get this to focus a little more for us. There we go, that's better. So, let's think about another carpet now though. This one's going to be wider. And again, this is just a quick introduction. So let's do this carpet, and let's say that this carpet is going to be 2 feet wide, and this carpet is going to be 3 feet long. So it's going to be 2 feet wide. So if I were to divide this up and show this, it would be like this. So it's going to be 1, 2, and then I'm going to divide this up into 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. And let's see what this is. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 square feet. So this is 6 square feet. But now I want to remind you what I told you, that there is a formula that we could use to find the area of things. And what we could do is we can say that area is equal, and I'm going to say length times width. I'm going to use the lowercase. I'm using cursive because I find that L to be very confusing. And our length is that it is 3 feet long, and our width is that it's 2 feet. And 3 times 2 is 6. And again, it would be 6 squares, right? And if we know what they are, 6 square feet. Otherwise, it's just 6 square units. The same thing I could have done for this one, where I knew that it was 8 long and 1 wide, so I could have said 8 times 1. Same thing. All right, so that's a basic introduction to area, and just kind of reminding you of things that you've learned in the past. Now, we don't want to have to draw all these squares all the time. We want to be able just to say that the area of something would be 2 by 3, and so then I'd know I could just do the formula. 2 times 3 is 6, or 3 times 2 is 6. We want to be able to just do it this way. So So this is how we're going to focus on it from now on. So I'm not going to be drawing any more squares at all. I am going to stick to doing the area model just this way. And we're going to use it to help us multiply. So let's do an easy one, and then we'll get into the slightly more complicated ones. So let's just really quickly model. Let's say that we had something that was, I don't know, 6 feet times 10 feet, or 6 by 10. So if I wanted to model that, I could say that it's 6 feet this way, and I could say that it's 10 feet this way. And I really like to also show the opposite sides because it'll make your math easier later on. So if this is 10, this is 10, because these are always going to be rectangles or squares. And if this is 6, then this is also 6. And so now I could say that the area would just be 6 times 10, which would be 60. This is how we're going to use the area model. So let's do one more easy one, and then we're going to talk about how we're going to be doing this the rest of the day. So here we go. So let's say that I told you that I wanted to model, I don't know, 7 times 30. And if I wanted to model 7 times 30, I could show 7, and then I could model, it would be kind of long, 30. So this is 7 and 30. So I could say 7 times 30, and I'm going to use my, sorry, I got distracted there by my puppy. I'm going to use my zero tricks. I'm going to do 7 times 3 is 21, and add on that 0, and I have 210. So this is nice and easy, but let's say that I have a slightly more complicated number. Let's say that I have a number like 23 times 45. Let's say that I want to model, oops, sorry guys, a more complicated number, like 23 times 45. Can we do that using the area model? We absolutely can, because we're going to break it up. So you know what, I apologize. I'm going to take a step back. I got distracted there for a second. I'm going to take a step back. And let's do a slightly easier one than this. Let's go ahead and let's say that I wanted to model, let's do 5 times, I don't know, 15. So if I wanted to model, or let's not do 15, let's do 16. So 5 times 16. I can use the area model, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to still have my 5 here, but when I model this 16, I want to break it up into expanded form. I want to show my 10s and my 1s separately. So what I would do is I would have my 10, and then that's the 10s, and I'd have 6 1s. And it would look like this. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing 5 times 10. But remember, I like to put my numbers here also, all the way around. So this square is 5 times 10, because it's 5 this way and 10 this way. But this square is going to be 5 by 6. And they're not squares, they're actually rectangles. So this one will be 50, and this one's going to be 30. And then I just have to add them together, because once I find the area of this one and this one, if I add them together, it's going to give me the area of the whole thing. So I would just have to add 50 plus 30, and I would get 80. So now let's get a little bit more complicated. Let's go ahead and let's go for this one that I had started doing. So similar to how we broke this up into 10 and 6, right? We could say that 16 is equal to 10 plus 6. Similar to how we did that, we're going to go ahead and draw an area model, and we're again going to break apart and do expanded form, in a sense, our 10s and our 1s. So here, let me first draw us a nice rectangle to work with. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to do the best you can. So I'm going to put my 23 on this side, and I'm going to have my 45 on this side. But remember, I want to break that 45 and that 23 up, so this whole side is 45, and this whole side is 23. But I want to be able to model my 10s and my 1s. So I'm going to try and kind of give it a little bit of a feel for how big each of these is going to be. So I'm going to take my tens. I have 2 tens, so that's 20. I'm going to take my 3 ones and put them here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and now I'm doing 45, right? We're doing 45 for this side. So I have my 4 tens, which is 40, and my 5 ones. But remember, I like to go all the way around. It makes it so much easier. So if this is 20, then this is also 20. And if this is 3, then this is also 3. And if this is 5, then this is also 5. And if this is 40, then this side is also 40 because it's 40 long. These are the same length. Remember that rectangles always have the same length on opposite sides. So that's why we have 20 and 20, 3 and 3, 40 and 40, 5 and 5. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do each one of these separately. Let me grab some colors for us so that we can really show this. So here we go. So this right here, this rectangle is 20 by 40 because it's 20, this side is 20, from here to here is 20, and from here to here is 40, so it's 20 times 40. So let's remember how to use our zero trick. I'm going to do my 2 times my 4, which is 8, and then I add in my 2 zeros. So we found that one rectangle, the orange rectangle so far. So now let's go ahead and let's find this rectangle right here. So for this one, I know that it's going to be 5 times 20. And that's because this distance is 5 and this distance is 20. And I know that because I have them all labeled here. And now I'm going to use my zero trick. 5 times 2 is 10, and I add on a 0. So now let's go ahead and let's do another one of these. So let's do this one. I like this one. So for this one, I know that it's 3 on this side because from here to here is 3, right? So it's going to be 3 times, and this side is 40. So 3 times 40. 3 times 4 is 12, and I add on that 0. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do that last one. So I'm going to grab another color. So here we go. So now we're going to do this box, this rectangle. So this one's going to be 5 by 3. From here to here is 5, so this side of it's 5. And this side is 3. And 5 times 3 is just 15. So now what we have to do is we have to put all these together. We have to take all these 4 boxes and put them into this big blue box. So they all have to get added together. So I'm going to take this 800, and that's going to get added. I'm going to add 100 to it from this box. This box has an area of 100. And now this box has an area of 120. And this box has an area of 15. And then I just have to add them all together and see what I get. And that'll give me the area of this big box, okay? So if I find the area of each of the little boxes and I add them together, I'll get the big box. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5 is 5. 2 plus 1 is 3. 8 plus 1 plus 1 is 10. So I get 1,035, but I have to label. So I'm going to say square units. But actually, if you're just doing multiplication, you don't have to include this. And we weren't actually finding the area of anything. All right, so let's take a look at some of the problems that you guys were doing. So I have this one right here. So here they were really, really nice. So we were using the area model, and then we added the 4 partial products. So again, remember that that's how we're doing this again. I'm sorry, my printer just has an issue. I need to order a new cartridge for it. So this is the problem we're doing. We're doing 18, right? 18 by 24, 18 times 24. So what you see here is that this side is the 18. And they put the 10s and the 1s. So we have 1 10, we have 8 1s. And then this side right here is 24. And so that's the 24. So they put the 2 10s and they put the plus symbol and they have the 4 1s right there. So how did they get the 10 and the 20 right here? Well, they have the 10 right here and they have the 20 right here. And 10 times 20 we can do our 0 trick again. So 1 times 2 is 2, and then we add on the 2 zeros. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this one over here. So when we do that one, sorry, just looking at something. So let's go ahead and do this one. So this one's going to be 8. Now remember how I said I like to write the numbers all around? This 20, this should be 20 down here also. Because if this is 20 long, then this is also 20 long. So 8 times 20, 8 times 2 is 16, and now you add on a 0. Now I can't really write in there. It might mess up my marker because this ink really messes things up. So I'm going to kind of squeeze it in down here. So if I'm doing the next one, I'm doing 10. Now remember, this is 10. I'm going to write it right here in between the ink spills. This is 10 long because this is 10 long. So 10 times 4 is going to just be 40. You guys know that. That's a fast fact. So that's for this one. And then for the bottom one, we're doing 8 times 4. And that's another fast fact. That's just 32. And then why is it 8 times 4? Because this is 8 and this is 4. And how do I know this is 8? Because this side right here is 8. So I know this side is also 8. And I know this is 4 because that was 4. So I know that this side is 4. So 8 times 4 is 32. And now all we have to do is we have to add these 4 rectangles together to get the big rectangle. So we would have, I'm just going to use one color, we would have 200 plus 40 plus 160, plus 32. Now, I prefer to stack them when I'm adding them, so let's go ahead and do that. So you're going to have to trust me since you can't see it all. So we'd have 200 plus 40 plus 160 plus 32. 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 2. 4 plus 6 is 10 plus 3 is 13. Make sure you regroup. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. And so that is your answer. When you added all those parts together, partial products, you do it in parts or pieces. All right, one more problem. Here we go. So, number 3, it says, what is the product of 16 and 12? So again, we are focusing on just doing things using the area model today. So that's how I'm going to do this one. So what is the product of 16 and 12? So I need to make a rectangle. I need to model it. That is going to be about 16 and 12, and it's really not looking quite right, but that's okay. So I have 16. Oh, let me move it over. And I have 12. So I know this whole thing is 16, and I know this whole thing is 12. But now I need to break it up into the 10s and the 1s. So I'm going to go ahead and do this and do this, and then I'm going to break this one up. So I have 1 10, which is just 10. We can start putting that plus symbol in if you want, and 6 1s. So 10 and 6 is 16. Up here we have 1 10 again, and we have 2 1s this time. So we have 10 and 2 is 12. So now though, remember what I like to do. I like to go all the way around. So if this is 10, this is 10. If this is 6, this is 6. If this is 10, this is 10. If this is 2, this is 2. And you can put your little plus symbols in if you like them. All right, so now let's do each one of these separately. So let's start right here. So we're going to start with this one. So this is going to be 10 by 10. This is 10 times 10. That's easy. Everyone knows that's 100. Super easy. Next one, let's do this one. So this one is 2 going this way, and it's 10 going this way. And 2 times 10, that's another fast fact. That's just 20. So now let's do this rectangle. So this rectangle is going to be 6 because it's 6 going this way, and going this way it's 10. So 6 times 10, which is 60, another easy fast fact. And then we have this one. So this one is 2 going this way, and it's 6 going this way. So it's 2 by 6, which is 12. And remember the last step? We have to add all these 4 rectangles together to get our big blue rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that over here. So I take my 100, I take my 20, I take my 60, and I take my 12, and I just add them all together. I get 2, 9, 1. So you should have gotten 192 when you figured that one out. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in our classroom.